everyone. I'm Erin Mosley, and this is Nathan Shosh. We're your 11th and 12th grade advisors for Mathis and Sutton High Schools. Today, we just wanted to do a little quick video on what is verification. You guys may have heard this word before surrounding financial aid. So we wanted to break it down a little bit and kind of dive into what is verification and what do you do for it. Quick note, if you guys have any questions about this process, please reach out to us. We are here to help. So let's go ahead and dive in.
All right, so if you've been selected for verification, you're probably wondering, what is verification? What does any of this mean? So verification means that your FAFSA, your application for financial aid, was selected either at random or by the colleges that you applied to check its accuracy. Now, a lot of students may think that if they were selected for verification, that must mean that they did something wrong, that you misentered something on your FAFSA, you didn't put information in correctly, but that's not necessarily the case. Every year, approximately 50% of low-income students are selected for verification at random by the Department of Education or by schools in particular. So just because you're selected for verification doesn't necessarily mean that you did anything wrong. It just means that you may have been selected at random so that they can verify that the information that you entered on your FAFSA is correct before they award financial aid money to you.
So how do you know if your application was selected for verification? So one of two ways. Your college will notify you by email or through your student portal. So that's kind of the number one way that you'll find out. Or number two is just by logging back into your FAFSA itself. So on that final page, whenever you completed your FAFSA, or if you'd logged in prior, it'll say processing or submitted. Now it may say selected for verification. That's one way that you will know. And typically your college will be the one notifying you. So just keep an eye out for those emails. It may take a little bit of time for your application to actually be selected. So just remember to check regularly, be checking your email, that sort of thing.
All right, so how do you complete verification once you realize that you have been submitted or selected for verification? So each college that you apply to, if you're selected for verification at that specific school, they will each require you to submit specific documentation in order to complete the verification process. So that's why, like Erin said, it's important to check your college applicant portal to see if you have been selected for verification, and if so, what specific documents do they require? Every school is going to be a little different on what specific documentation they need, to a certain extent, or at least the forms are going to look a little different at each school. So it's important that you check and make sure that you are filling out the correct forms that that school is requesting of you. And a lot of times you can even submit those forms electronically on the applicant portal. So if you are not checking your applicant portal, if you do not know how to log into your applicant portal, make sure you do so as soon as possible, because that's important, not just to financial aid, but also just to registering for classes and completing the application process, or seeing even if there's still other documents you need to submit as well, just with the general application process. And sometimes also with verification, it may also ask you to log back into your FAFSA account as well and try to link it to the IRS data retrieval tool if you were not able to do that the first time. So if you can do that as well, that can be another way that you can work through the verification process as well. But like I said, just check with each school that you applied to and see what specific instructions they have for you.
So here are some of the typical documents that will be required for verification. Number one is a tax transcript through the IRS. So this is kind of the big one that if you get selected for verification, more than likely they're going to want this. It's super easy to go onto the IRS's website and request a tax transcript. So many students have to do this every year. It's a pretty common process. So that's number one, the tax transcript. Number two, if you didn't work, then they may be requesting a verification of non-filer status. Again, you can request that through the IRS's website. Let us know if you need trouble or if you have trouble or need any help with this. Another thing they might be asking for is just general household information. This could just be the number of people in your household, who supports you, just general things like that. And then, as Nathan mentioned, they could just be asking for you to link your FAFSA to the IRS data retrieval tool. And to do so, you'll just go into your FAFSA, click on Make a Correction, go to the portion where it's asking for the financial information for your parents, and you'll just try to link it through the IRS, the data retrieval tool that's already in the FAFSA. So those are just some of the things that they could be asking for. They could ask for other things, like Nathan said. Just make sure to be checking in on your college portal for what documents they're wanting.
Sorry, I muted myself. So lastly, some quick tips for completing the verification process. Once you figure out that you are selected for verification, make sure that you complete the process as soon as possible. There are some deadlines that you might need to be aware of. And even generally speaking, like we always tell students, a lot of financial aid may come on a first come, first served basis. So the sooner you're able to get the verification process completed, the sooner you are hopefully reserving your spot in some financial aid to help pay for school. When you're completing these forms, make sure that you double, triple, quadruple check that you have not made any errors, because if you make errors on this process, it's just going to prolong the process and make it even more difficult to resolve. If you were selected this year, please be prepared to be selected the next year and the year after that. So make sure that you understand the process this year, because if you were selected, there's a good chance you will be selected again in the future. And last but certainly not least, make sure you let your advisor know that you've been selected for verification, so that we can help you and so that we can follow up with you and send you reminders. Because like we said, there are deadlines. We want to make sure that you submit this information as soon as possible. And we also want to make sure that we're available as a resource for you to resolve these verification issues. So lastly, do not be intimidated by verification. I know it can be a little tricky at times. I know it's a big, scary word. It might make you feel like, you know, there's more hoops for you to jump through, but we're here for you. You can do it, and we're happy to help you out any way that we can. So just check your information that you had to see if you've been selected for verification, and if so, let us know. You got this.
Yeah, you guys can do it.